When I joined the association, I was Director of Loss Prevention for a home center. It's not even in business anymore. And I got a letter from Jim, I believe it was, from Jim Ratley. And I did a little due diligence because I wanted to make sure it was a good professional group. And I knew some people that knew of him and Dr. Wells, and all I heard was positive things. And I was number 315. I think the designation has become the gold standard for a fraud examiner. What's incredible is the knowledge of fraud and all the different areas that it happens in, and all the codifying of it, and all the Dr. Wells' writings, and it's just so immense, and it was kind of all over the place, and now it's become focused. It's still overwhelming, but focused. The profession at the time, I think, was somewhat disjointed, and to Dr. Wells' point, we needed that new corporate cop. That was certainly the point, and we didn't have the training. It wasn't as organized, and you would do a case and you're hoping you were doing it right. And like, for instance, I had a mail fraud case, and I didn't know anything about mail fraud, so I went to the manual and looked it up and asked Jim about it. And so I think it really took this huge area, and I just wonder if the association didn't happen, where fraud would be, or if the economy would still be going in the world. I mean, it's just amazing. We have all these good people and all this good training, and that's grown from just, you couldn't have written a novel about the growth of the association, because it would have seemed unbelievable. And it's, now you see all these people and all this professional interaction and incredible training. And so from that little meeting, and personally, it's like I said, when they interviewed me for the fraud magazine, it's the best professional decision, without a doubt, that I ever made. I've definitely gleaned volumes and so much. I don't know if there's been surprises, because there's always going to be something new. So I don't know that I've been surprised, sometimes maybe overwhelmed, but I don't know about surprised, other than the pervasiveness of fraud, and talking with CFEs and other entities, and how they deal with different challenges also. Despite people being from different backgrounds and working in different jobs, I don't think there's a lot of silos. I think people realize, as I've gotten older, and I have worked in the private sector, I have worked government, and I've worked law enforcement, and the real successful teams are exactly that, they're teams. And I think when people, I have the advantage of being a little more mature, and been in the business for a lot of years. And when you can put your ego aside and work together as a team, you can literally climb mountains and do a lot of things. I remember one time I was working a case in the valley, and there was 3 different state agencies and the local district attorney, and the Texas Ranger were in his office, and he said, "No, you take my chair, and this is, you're leading it." And I came home and I told my wife, I said, "Well, I've made it big. A Texas Ranger gave me his chair today." So I mean, it was just a great example of how all these these different entities on a pretty big fraud case all work together, and for a successful result. The best career advice, I think, is that people support what they help create. I just love that. It's always been a mantra of mine, and I think that's so true. You take the time to listen to people and get their input and stuff they're going to support. Good. And then there's always a quote that I've always liked: "An investment in education pays the best interest." I just love that one. I think it'll continue to be the gold standard. I see the John Gills and the Nancy Bradfords taking that toolkit and handing it to these young kids, and they are so blessed with the wealth of knowledge and the organization and everything that has been set for them, versus those of us that were doing this 25 years ago, kind of learning as we went. They have just a tremendous body of knowledge and a framework and a structure to go with. Blend that with some good people skills, and they'll do fine.